Hey folks, BoDean 52, hope you are well. In this video, I'm going to give you 4, 5, 6, 20 reasons on why you should buy an older motorcycle like this 2000 Road King Classic instead of one of those fancy new 2024 models. Let's take the King out and talk about it. Well, I got to start with number one, which is really the reason I bought this 2000 Road King Classic a few years back, is just the traditional, simple, beautiful look. I love just looking at this motorcycle. From the white walls, I did put new tires on it when I first got it, to just how the bike looks is something that's extremely appealing to me. I'll be honest with you, the one thing that I like about the bike, how it looks the best, not even the white walls, for some reason I love this big headlight. There's something about looking down at that big headlight, which is one of the reasons I don't like running this thing with a shield, that I just simply love, because it just is one of those things to me that's super appealing. Well, if you follow my channel, you know that over the past few months I have made some motorcycle switches out of the garage, which ended up getting me a 2024 Road Glide. And I love that bike. I love everything about it. And I actually traded in a 21 Road Glide Limited and a Kawasaki KLR 650, of which I just didn't ride enough. And somebody asked me, why didn't you just trade in Duke as well? And I'll tell you what, the King is not going anywhere, except if Mrs. BoDean can make it happen. The 6-foot hole that I'm going in when I leave this fantastic earth, I want the King with me. I probably should say something nice like, my wedding rings, the memories and pictures of my children and wife. No, I went to bike. Okay. So yeah, the way the bike looks is the first thing that I think is super appealing. I think to many people, tons and tons of comments on the bike, and obviously motorcycles are specific to the person, but it's definitely why I love it. The second reason I like this bike, and there are a bunch of them, so I'm going to try to whittle them down here to one of the things that I think are the most important, is when I bought this, I was used to having baggers. Well, I had a 16 Street Glide Special, which I guess was a bagger, but not a super heavy bike. And then I went to an Ultra Limited, a Road Glide Limited, and again, my other bike is Road Glide. But this bike is, 812, something like that, 800 pounds. It doesn't feel that way. And for an older motorcycle, the thing just handles really nice. It's amazing how much 100 pounds on a motorcycle will do for you. And I think there's a bunch of other reasons why getting an older motorcycle is good that I'm going to talk about next. But I think one of the other ones, especially if you're even a new rider or somebody that hasn't yet had a super heavy bike or have had a heavy bike, going to this bike is definitely something that you can handle, just because of the weight and how the bike lets you move it around, which is to me pretty awesome for sure. So number 3 is, who's kidding who? It's cost a lot of money for that 2024 Road Glide, no doubt about it, right? Plus all the stuff that you put on it. I got this bike, even though there was a little bit of cash and trade on something, I basically bought this bike for $4,500. It had, 20,000 miles on, 21,000 miles on it, and that's not very expensive. Now, I probably put $600, $700, $800 into it. That is all. Now, I do every year, as I am this year, get a little bit concerned about the cam tensioners, cam chain tensioners on this bike that I actually did have checked out right when I bought the bike, and I know I really need to get them out of there. because at some point they cause problems with potentially with the motor. Again, 26,000 miles on it. It is really time. You know, the guy told me, hey, at least by 30. I think this winter I'm just going to take the bike in and say, you got it for the winter, change them out. But other than that, and that will be an expense, I'm sure it's over $1,000 or so, be well worth it for this motorcycle. And it is, and you can get into it less. Insurance is less. In general, why you may have to fix more things, whether you can do that yourself, it's a pretty simple bike to work on, or not, it is really much less point of entry to get into motorcycles if you buy something used, and especially if you buy something for the Road King. I looked for this bike for 2 years, and the minute I saw it, I knew it was coming home with me. Number 4, the way, and this is probably the biggest one, as I watch this boat get put in the water here, and this family going out, and I am sure when they're out on that bike or out on that boat that they simply love it. And there's just a feeling, I am sure, when you're out in your boat that you just go, oh my God, I love this, right before you have to put another $1,000 in it. But I am the same way when I ride this Road Glide. I'm embarrassed to admit I have only rode Duke a few times this year. I've gotten I got the new bike crazy because I just love riding that motorcycle. But every time I get on this bike, I always question myself going, dude, why do you not ride this more? You got to ride this more, even if you have to pull back on the other bike, or maybe quit work and retire. That'd probably be a good thing, which I'm working on, by the way. That's a whole different story. But there is something, you know, maybe it's the rattle, maybe it's the sound, maybe it's the things we talked about earlier, the look, the feel, the wind, the simplicity of the motorcycle. No gears, no gadgets. You know, how fast are you going? How much gas do you got? Right? What gear are you in? That's pretty much it, right? Who needs fancy stuff like a flipping yacht club? You don't need a yacht club. All he needs a king. And I am telling you, you get on a bike like this, if you at all are in the market or really want to have a feel of a motorcycle, and again, to me, this is really a true basic motorcycle that gets to the core of riding, because that's what it is. And you get on and ride one of these motorcycles, just make sure you got your checkbook with you, because there was no way this motorcycle was not coming home with me. And the guy that said, okay, I'll take your quad and you give me $1,000 and you can have the Road King, I'd have gave him $3,000 in my quad. Fortunately, he doesn't watch my channel, so you should work on your negotiating skills, pal. And I think it's number 5. Number 5 is, to me, and I mentioned it a few minutes ago, America. We should all have a big flag like that in our yard. There is so much enjoyment out of having something that is just back to the basics. You know, for the longest time, I've been watching this guy that's a prepper, okay? And I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here, but bear with me. I'll get focused here in a minute. He's a prepper. And I used to think that those people that were preppers, I'm not talking about having some extra water in your basement or a few cans of food in case there's a tornado or something, right? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this guy is like building bunkers, putting cameras all around his lot. And trust me, my home is fortified, but I'm not to the point where some of these folks are just prepping for some crazy apocalypse or something. And you know, I always thought they were freaking lunatics. I honestly thought they were lunatics until obviously the pandemic came and you see all the crazy people running around these cities and acting like fools and should all be put in prison. But that's a whole different video that I'm sure I'll piss somebody off, but that's okay. I'm old, I don't care that much anymore. Back to the bike, I will tell you that just going out, no gear, no special cruise control, no phone. Is that a boat bar? What's a boat bar? We need a boat bar. We need a boat. We need a boat bar. Did you see that? I hope I can slow play that. By the way, is it healthy? I love living somewhat out in the country. And every now and then you're going to see something like this above us, in front of us, above us. Come on, focus, BoDean. And for some reason I'm thinking there's a bunch of chemicals and crap that's coming out of it. And I'm riding behind it in a motorcycle. You got a shield down, what could go wrong? Nothing could go wrong. Nothing could go wrong. Okay, let's get away from that and just go to hell. You know? Actually, for those that are new to the channel, I'm talking about Hell, Pennsylvania, Hell, Michigan. Just Hell, Michigan is where I'm going through right now, here in a minute. But there is just that whole simplistic, easy, no worry. You know, I think the only thing on this, and this bike came with a stage 1 on it, and does have some great sounding Reinhardt pipes on it. I think the only thing I've really done is I'm putting these highway pegs on. I mean, that has really been it, is the highway pegs. And this motorcycle just keeps on ticking, and it is just fun to ride. So if you are looking for something used, or you're just looking for a motorcycle, it's crazy times right now. Interest rates are crazy. People are still getting laid off of their jobs. It's still not as stable as we need it to be, and it will be here in a couple years. Be smart. Be smart. Buy a used bike. Don't buy that old expensive bike, pay too much money, or that new expensive bike, pay too much money for it, finance it. All that crazy, that stuff is crazy, and if you sit back and think about it, you know that's right. So, hey, if you can afford it and you work hard for it, go for it is what I say. But if you're not, don't care about what other people think or what they ride. Only matters that you're out riding, and you're probably going to get a whole lot more people talking to you and saying, wow, what a great bike, on this 2000 Road King Classic, more so than my 2024 Road Glide. Thanks for coming along, folks. Hope everybody is well. Make sure to check on a friend, and if you're looking for a little more Road King action, check out this video right here. Okay, both of them. Let's talk Road Kings. Thanks, folks. Be safe. Check on a friend. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Peace.
Oh, it's time for me to check on all my friends, like the Wolverines and Lions for the win. Mrs. BoDean by my side, we'll take Harley for a ride. I love you all like I love